Evening, everybody. How you doing? Dad Brown here in the studio, or in the sports office, not the studio. It's Alexa Ross over that shoulder right there. What's up, Alexa? She'll be handling the 11 o'clock duties tonight. I know you're watching me right now because you ain't watching Patriots Chiefs anymore. That thing's gone in the toilet, and pretty much how you thought it would. I mean, without Cam Newton, Brian Hoyer, Jarrett Stidham, not good. Chiefs, not great tonight, but plenty good enough. Thing about this game, the Chiefs' defense is good. I mean, look, I know the Patriots quarterbacks are bad, but in the NFL, you give 10 points to a team, you force some turnovers, and I know he had some help at the end of the first half with that terrible Hoyer play. Chiefs' defense can play. This is not just a one-sided team that's going to be carried by Pat Mahomes. They can play some deep. But anyway, talking about the Bills. First, let me hit the injury updates. A couple big ones. Matt Milano, pec injury week to week. I don't know if it's a torn pec, but this is the same body part that John Feliciano has injured and has kept him out the first 4 games of the year, and really no change on that seems to be in sight. So Sean McDermott called Milano's injury week to week today, which means it's going to be longer term than normal. I would say hard to expect Milano to play on Sunday. If there's a game in Tennessee, and we'll get to that too, Milano's almost certainly out. Same goes for Levi Wallace, the corner. Ankle injury. Expect to see a lot more of Josh Norman. I think that was going to happen anyway, but we don't really know still what we're getting with Josh Norman, so it would have been nice to have Wallace on the bench to where if Norman craters, you got somebody else to turn to. But for the foreseeable future, that's not going to happen. Brian Winter's knee, day-to-day, not a big deal. Josh Allen's shoulder, McDermott said that he was fine as of this morning, so Josh Allen is fine. In addition, Cody Ford is going to be on the injury report this week. We don't know why. We didn't get any more details from Sean McDermott about that. Frankly, the Bills coach is terrible about volunteering injury details. I know strategy, blah, 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 but it'd be nice to be able to tell your fans what's going on with your team. Ford, who was better last week at left guard, seemed to be okay this week at left guard. McDermott did say today that Cody Ford at left guard is something that is going to continue to happen going forward. It's not locked in for the year, but that's his spot now. He's not going to play tackle. He's not going to play right guard, which means that when John Feliciano comes back, he probably does slot into right guard again. Brian Winters goes to the bench along with Quentin Spain. So those are your big injury updates for today. The other thing I wanted to point out that was fun and intriguing from the Bills coaches' press conferences, Brian Daboll said that the long pass to Stefon Diggs, end of the game after Josh Norman had forced the fumble, that is something the Bills have practiced over and over and over and over during the week, that they had run that route against air many times trying to get it right. And then I'm assuming this is in a 7-on-7 or 11-on-11 period. They ran the same play but from the other side, and Daboll said that what you saw in the game with Diggs going up over a defensive back to make a catch, it's exactly how it went down in practice. Josh Allen put the ball right there. Diggs went up to make the catch right there. It was just, instead of left in the game, it was right in practice. Fascinated me for 2 things. One, how good are the Bills that play, a 50-yard bomb to here, can be repeated over and over. They're doing it in practice and they're doing it in the game. But the other thing was, if you watch that play on TV, it looks like a really poor pass by Josh Allen. It looks like if he had led Diggs a little more to the middle of the field, there's no defensive back there. You throw the ball out that way, and Diggs catches it and walks in for a touchdown instead of having to fight over defensive back and getting tackled in the field of play. No big deal either way, but it seems like that was, from what Daboll said, the way the Bills were trying to draw it up in the first place, which, again, is impressive. It's a good thing. I also asked Daboll today how much concern he has with some of the Josh Allen hero ball. We had a play in that Raiders game where Allen had the ball in field goal range. It was late. The game was over. But had the ball in field goal range and then took a 15-yard sack or whatever it was to force a punt. I mean, it's a bad quarterback play. I don't care if the Bills were up by 14 late. It's just a bad play. And essentially what Daboll said was, look, a lot of those plays, they become good plays. And, we're going to have Josh be Josh. And I wonder, I think I would have told you last year the Bills can't get away with that. I know I've had this conversation with you in this spot, that you can't have a quarterback that takes these mega negative plays that kills drives. And this is something Josh Allen has done multiple times this year, especially, last week against the Rams. But I think from the Bills' point of view, they're so talented around him. He's playing so well. The plus plays are so good from Josh Allen that maybe the Bills can live with him like this. And it doesn't seem like there's any. Look, Brian Daboll talked about, we don't want to make it bad plays. We try to get them, he knows not to. I trust his decision making, blah, blah, blah. I really think the Bills are in a good enough spot with Josh Allen where, is he going to make you bang your head on the wall every once in a while because he's just taking 15-yard sacks in a spot where you have the ball in field goal range? Yes. But you take the bad with the good, and right now the bad with the good is 4-0 with one of the best offenses in the NFL. A fascinating thing to look at going forward, whether the Bills can continue to have a quarterback who plays like that. They may be able to. They've been good so far. We will see coming up soon. For the next 5. Titans, Chiefs, last year's AFC Championship game, and then Patriots, Seahawks. Probably, the Patriots are certainly the chief challenger to the Bills in the AFC East, and the Seahawks might be the best team in the NFC. So there will be a lot of learning. And this isn't, keep in mind, when we talked about Bills Rams, that was kind of like, is this a for real? This is a game where it was, is this for real? These next 4 games are not that. These next 4 games to me are more a playoff preview. If you win, you lose. Does it hurt you for the playoffs? Maybe a little bit. But this is just, okay, this is what it's going to be like in January. It'd be nice if you can prove you can win some of these games now, although it really is not going to matter until you get to January anyway. This is not a prove it game. This is kind of a measuring stick game. And if the Bills lose, would it be discouraging? Sure. But it's not the end of the world because they're probably going to get another shot at these teams again in January. What do you guys got tonight? Oh, you know what? Before I get to your comments, let me update the Titans stuff. Sean McDermott said that the Bills are monitoring what's going on in Tennessee with their COVID infections. They had none today. If they have none again tomorrow morning, then the plan is open the facility on Wednesday and we're full steam ahead towards the game. But keep in mind, any new COVID positives in Tennessee, maybe even just one, might be enough to kill this Bills game on Sunday. So for today, for now, we're in good shape. Sean McDermott's keeping an eye on it. He's not concerned the players will get distracted, although I'm telling you what, all of us in the media are going to throw questions at guys on Wednesday about, do you feel safe? Are you worried about it? So there will be distractions, courtesy us in the media on Wednesday. But for now, Sean McDermott said he thought his team was focused and concentrating on getting ready for the game, although everybody is keeping an eye on what's happening in Tennessee. Okay, now your comments. Micah Thaxton, Matt, I can't be in the stadium in my season seats. Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, if you have season tickets this year, this is a rough year to miss. I mean, because I was just talking to Alexa about this too. All the big games on the Bills' schedule are home games. Patriots, Seahawks, Chiefs, Steelers. I mean, those are the 4 best teams in the Bills' schedule this year. The best road game might be this week in Tennessee. Maybe San Francisco later in the year when the Niners get healthy. So it's a rough year to not have seats in Bills Stadium. James Shaw is next week's game on the schedule for next week. Yes, it is, James Shaw. Next week's game is on the schedule for next week. Good job. I think if you're asking if the game is still planned, yeah, it's still scheduled. They're still planning on having that game. Let's go Beers, Bills. Tim Mills, good one. Chris Underwood. Does it feel like Josh Norman's forced fumble lit a fire on the defense? I hope it continues this week because we need continuity and consistency on defense soon. I think it did. I think it helped. It was certainly the first really big play of that game, and it was a game where the defense needed big plays. That's a 7-point game. Raiders were in Bills territory, so they're moving the ball again, and they had scored on every other possession except one before then. So yeah, I don't think you can underestimate how big that play was. Continuity, consistency would be nice. And keep in mind, the defense has been mostly healthy still this year. Last year was incredibly healthy, ungodly healthy last year. This year, yeah, you had the linebackers out for the Miami game. You're going to have Milano and Wallace out going forward here, but for the most part, you've been healthy and consistent on defense. Tim Mills, I didn't put you in Facebook jail, by the way. I've seen Josh throw the ball. Yeah, it's good. FYI, it's good this year. John Ayala, if we beat the Titans and or Chiefs, we'll prove to people that we are for real, just in case there are any lingering questions about that. For sure. I think more that the Chiefs are a different animal than the Titans. Titans are a good win. Titans will be a better win than what the Bills have so far. Although, the Rams might be better than the Titans, we'll see. But for now, a win Sunday would be, I think, called the best Bills win of the year. But beating the Chiefs next Thursday is a whole different animal than everything else. David Young, I don't want to see Josh Allen get hurt when he pushes too hard. Rather lose a game than a quarterback for a few games. Yeah, and that's part of the hero ball stuff, too. It's not just taking sacks or throwing interceptions or losing the ball on a fumble. Josh Allen, the offense is humming. There's no need for him to try the 3rd and 10 left-handed flip, which really had more of a chance of being intercepted than it did getting a first down. But again, the end result there was Allen went to the training room and had to get checked out for an injury. Sometimes being smart isn't about saving the down, it's about saving the body. And right now he's not doing that enough for a normal quarterback. But Josh Allen in this offense is not normal. They are highly abnormal in the best way imaginable. Ed Prindle, was Norman good on tape? I haven't watched yet. The NFL.com site has been down, I will say, most of the day, so I haven't had a chance to look at any film or even watch the game again. But ask me that again tomorrow, I'll answer it for you. Yeah, Sean Dingle, good point. Bills started 3-0 in 2005. They started 4-0 in 2008, missed the playoffs both years. They're going to make the playoffs this year, barring something out of this world, unforeseen. But, yeah, I mean, just because the Bills are 4-0 this year doesn't mean they're going to the Super Bowl. And I think most people understand that. Yeah, way better squad than 2005. We think so. Are the rumors that Houston wants Daboll as a head coach true? I don't know. I think teams who have a head coaching opening should want Brian Daboll. Now, Brian Daboll can't go there in season. He's got to wait till after the season. So none of this is changing this year. But after this year, I would be stunned if Brian Daboll is still in Buffalo. I mean, the guy has done masterful work. He deserves a big chunk of the credit for Josh Allen's improvement. And this improvement, this isn't normal improvement. This is, why people said Josh Allen wouldn't be good? Because 99 out of 100 guys who do what he did his first 2 years aren't good. This is a once-in-a-generation kind of development as a quarterback. And Brian Daboll deserves a big amount of credit for it. But it's not just that. The offense is just schemed up so well. How many touchdowns have the Bills had, or big plays that the Bills had, they've been wide open? Gabriel Davis, this week the touchdown, last week the play for 40 yards. I mean, everything is just functioning, is clicking at the highest possible level. So I don't know how a team cannot look at this year and think, wow, I want that guy running my team. So I think by this time next year, Brian Daboll is the head coach somewhere in the NFL. Yeah, this year's better. Gotcha. Jeremy Blair, something has to be done with the officiating in the NFL. The rules have taken common sense out of the game of football. Anything significant change with the way the game is officiated in the future? Not the near future, Jeremy Blair. Look, I'm with you guys. I had no idea what was going on with that John Brown non-touchdown. Never heard of that before. The one thing you got to keep in mind, the rule book has to be written, or is written in such a way to try and take the judgment calls out of the game as much as possible. So when you start writing as many scenarios as you can think of, you do end up writing yourself into some weird corners. And that's what that felt like with the John Brown play on Sunday. Again, I've never seen that before. I have no idea about that call. If it's in the rule book, great, but I don't know what to tell you. I've never seen that. By and large, the officiating is good and right and correct, 98.7% of the time, whatever it is. But that one baffled me too. What's up, Scott Zeitz? Yeah, John Allen, if the Bills beat the Chiefs, they can beat anybody. And I think right now we can say the Bills can beat anybody. The thing is, can you win 3 or 4 of those games in a row in January? That's really the question at this point. And we'll find out more the next few weeks. Josh is doing everything he can not to run with it. Scares the crap out of me when he runs. We need him healthy. Again, running or not running doesn't really make a difference when it comes to injury. You can get hurt in the pocket as much as you can get hurt out of the pocket. To me, it's the spots. Pick your spots. You don't need to run and spin and, extend the play for 5, 6, 7 seconds every time. Sometimes just the play didn't work, throw it in the stands, and go play your next down. Bill O'Brien in Buffalo as an offense coordinator. I would say probably not, but not a terrible thought, Ed Prindle. I would say probably not, but, not out of this realm. I just don't think – Bill O'Brien, remember, came here directly from college. He was a Penn State coach, I'm pretty sure. Alexia, remember that? Bill O'Brien, was he at Penn State for Houston? Is that what it was?
I believe so.
Yeah. So this is not a guy who worked his way up in the NFL as like a assistant and a coordinator and that kind of thing. So I don't think Bill O'Brien goes back to being goes to be a coordinator somewhere in the NFL. But again, not out of the realm. Jesse Relia, the kicker sucks. Not good. I'm not going to say he's terrible, but you missed 3 kicks now between 30 and 40 yards in 4 games. It ain't good. It is a problem for sure.
He was at the Patriots, then was Penn State's head coach.
What was he at the Patriots?
He was an offensive assistant, then was the head coach at Penn State.
Okay, probably a high up assistant. All right, so Bill O'Brien was a high up assistant with the Patriots. So maybe, but Again, I don't. Again, Ed Prindle, not a terrible thought. I just don't think so. Yeah, you got me. You found it as fast as Lex did. Good job, Ed. Yeah, Tim Mills, you're right. Josh Allen, the only time he throws it in the stands is after he scores, running the ball. All right. So, look, the Bills are a 4-0 team, which is great. Are they a perfect team? No. We're going to find out how good they are. And, again, this isn't like if they lose their next two, oh, they're a pretend team. I mean, look, if you lose all 4 of these games, then there's concerns. You go 2-2, you're a contender. You're in the mix. And I think it's probably what we'll see. Somewhere probably 2-2 is what I think the Bills will do. Although, like I said, 3 of these 4 games are home, so 3-1 is not out of the realm also. So, thanks for checking in. Someone's calling me, so I'm going to jet out right now, and I'll be back tomorrow to talk a little more film breakdown with the Bills and the Raiders. Later.